Now, did you know that all Airbus planes have something called a boat mode? Turning an A320 into an 80-ton speedboat indeed. Yes, okay, it's not actually called boat mode, it's called ditching mode, but it does turn your airplane into an actual floating boat. When you turn on this button, it seals off all the air from outside, something that an airliner is supposed to do anyway because the cabin can be pressurized. Here we see the bleed cutting off from the outside. In a second, we're going to see an alert. Yes, and there it is. The packs have failed. The packs are, done for the air conditioning, for air to circulate from the outside to the inside. We have cut off the plane now, and so we will actually float above water. No, this airplane, if it floats now, doesn't sink. Let's go ahead and try out this mode today. Why are we doing that? Because the Sim, the TFX, have released a new alpha version update. Yes, the guys who did the crash animations for Microsoft Flight Sim. That's a lot of fire! Which for the first time adds actual water effects when you do a water landing in an airplane in the Microsoft Flight Sim. See, it's just come out for the A320, once again in the alpha version. This is not released just yet, but still the TFX is a free add-on you can download now on their website. So far though, it only adds engine fire. They're going to officially release the new crash engine as well as the new water engine relatively soon, but let's go ahead and put this thing to the test indeed. Let's take off without the ditch mode onto a doomed flight. As you can see, we can go full power in this airplane right now. Beautiful. Okay, 80 knots. We're looking good. Taking off from Gibraltar Airport, which leads obviously into the sea. The problem is with Gibraltar Airport is that they have lots of bird activity. Genuinely, we figured that out in my video about this airport. Anyway, landing gear up, all seems well until it doesn't. Let's go ahead and pull up some engine fire. So it's right there, ATA, unextinguishable fire. Apply and apply. And in a second, we're gonna see what the Sully flight pilots saw. Captain Stoltenberger saw this alert: engine 1 fire, engine 2 fire. These engines are slowly dying, and we can see that from the outside. Now, this is the Phoenix A320, one of the most realistic airplanes for the Microsoft Flight Sim. So this is very realistically done in order to actually extinguish the fire, which we have to do very quickly in order for fire not to catch on onto the wings. We need to pull the extinguisher. Here it is, and this is the fire agent on the engine number 1. This is the fire agent on the engine number 2. There we go, discharge. And it discharged a fire retardant indeed. And so what happened now is that we've lost all engines. We're going full power, yet we're receiving none of it. Now, if we were heroes, we could actually try to return to the airport because our engines failed at quite a good altitude still to return, even though this might be actually quite close. Just for safety, I'm going to turn on now the so-called ditching mode. It's right there. Shut up, airplane. Ditching mode on, all engines failure. Gliding distance is 2 miles per 1,000 feet. This little display does give you a good amount of information for you to return to the... Actually, we might be able to actually return. Now, one big problem is that the fire extinguishers actually didn't do their job properly. The engines are still very much on fire. That's not good. Now, something that's quite remarkable about this plane is that it's actually quite a good glider, as you can see. We're gliding very, very well. We're actually gaining speed as we glide, though. We have the big ram air turbine, obviously, out. This provides our plane now, as we know, with some electricity, some hydraulics, which is why these instruments are still alive. And this is why we still have a slight control of the airplane. Let's see. We weren't able to return to the airport because actually we're overflying it, as you can see. We're going to end up in the ocean, the Mediterranean Sea. So let's see what that looks like. My first time actually seeing the water physics on the Phoenix A320, so let's take a look. Now, on a real flight, we would do some sort of a briefing with the crew. They would say, brace, 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 obviously. For that to work, we have to put this into emergency mode, like right there, emergency call button. There you go. Bing bong. Jesus Christ, this thing is a good glider. We're at 200 knots now. We're extremely fast. But it makes sense. After all, our engines failed at around 3,000 feet, giving us 6 nautical miles to glide. That's not a little amount. So we're still gliding. The airport is all the way over there. Now, we'll just shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Okay, now we're cooking. We're going to land at a very slow speed right here. 170 knots is fine. We're going to follow the coastline for a quick evacuation to the land. Things are looking good though. We're a few hundred feet above ground still. Onlookers on boats would be quite puzzled by the sight here. All right, look at this. Let's total this multi-million-dollar airplane now. Damn it, we're still glide. This thing is like, it pretends it has engines. That's insane. Okay, look at that, 140 knots. Let's go ahead and put out the flaps right now so we can touch down at a very slow pace. See, the huge forces of the water stopping us might just break apart our airliner. Let's make sure that doesn't happen. And what I'm gonna do now is actually let go of the controls because I almost feel like the Airbus land itself quite well into water quite smoothly. All right, 120 knots. Look at this. I'm letting go of the controls and the plane will touch down soon on the water automatically. Oh yes, look at that, a smooth landing into water. Let's take a look at the animation of it. Boom. Yep, that is a lot of water splashes. Okay, we can see that even from the cockpit, we have turned this plane into a boat. Indeed. Now, it doesn't sound like it. There's already no sound to this. So, there we go. We've stopped. We're still a little bit on fire. Not even the water is able to extinguish it. What I'm going to do now is turn on the evacuation horn so that everyone gets the hell out of here. Let's turn on the emergency exit lights. Oh, well, we wouldn't really have to evacuate super quickly. This plane actually swims. It does. Can hear the ocean sound. Absolutely relaxed. But we can actually also open the doors right here, which is going to have water enter our airplane, but that's fine. All right, let's open the doors now. There we go. Look at that. Doors are opening and immediately, and this is the point, water starts entering the airplane. We can already see water in the cabin as it starts to flood this airplane very quickly. Yes, of course, the ditch mode that turns your airplane into a not sinking boat obviously is ruined by you opening the doors and we're starting to sink. The good thing is, in Microsoft Flight Sim, this airplane just doesn't sink at all. You know, after all, Microsoft Flight Sim, the water physics aren't that good, after all, anyway. See, this is what water landings normally look like in the Microsoft Flight Sim in the ocean, and you'll see that there's pretty much nothing showing up as an effect. Oh, that water is so hard, we're scraping on it. Yes, this is what it would usually look like. Nothing going on. Maybe a little bit of spinning, but it's like literally the Microsoft Flight Simulator thinks this is a hard surface. And we literally we don't even float on it, we sit on it. These planes in the Microsoft Flight Sim usually are Jesus. Oh, the plane closes. Okay, that's not what I wanted. Oh, that has not gone very well at all. We've crashed this plane. It's now part of on fire. And we're inside of the ocean right now, and we come back and we're now floating above the ocean. Yeah, even with these particles added in, this is not necessarily good. I mean, compare this to the X-Plane Flight Simulator. See, in the X-Plane Flight Simulator, plane actually swim. Let's go ahead and take off with this Airbus A330, and just as a precaution, turn on the ditching mode. Something this plane also has, of course, highly realistic. Shh, you're fine. See, this flight simulator has birds, so actual bird strike. Womp womp, that I think should have killed the engines. All right, all engines failure. Very similar sound and design to the A320. Very similarly, the rat comes out, the ram air turbine. Also on the wing now. And you're gonna see this plane actually turning into a boat now that the ditching mode is on, and this plane is armed and ready to be a boat indeed. Now it glides down just as well as the A320, really. Damn, these planes glide for a long time. Look at it. We're at 200 knots and we're actually being able to keep it. No, plane doesn't even fall out of the sky just yet like this. Oh, okay. We have a bit of a problem. I don't want to be ending up in the mountains here, so we have to do a left turn. Okay, that was a bad idea. Oh, all right, there we go. And this is what I'm talking about. Planes actually do have water animations. Now, granted, they're not the best either, but look, this plane actually swims, and it doesn't swim well. Very, very realistic. Now, let's open the cockpit door, where we find out, the plane isn't full of water at all. Mainly because it actually floats. Let's see what happens if you remove the ditching mode, put on the emergency evacuate command, which actually opens the doors indeed. Hey, and as you can see, the plane actually floats on water. That has to change. What we can do here is actually change the wave height. We can make it a lot higher. Aha, that's what I'm talking about. This is a new wave system of the X-Plane flight. Oh, holy moly. Yes, new waves in the X-Plane flight. Oh, that is not good at all. But as you can see, planes actually do swim, and when we put this into when we advance the speed, this plane will actually swim around in the ocean. But well, water landings just aren't very realistically simulatable. Why? Because you can't simulate the plane possibly falling apart on impact. But X-Plane does it a lot better because these planes actually do swim. This plane doesn't swim very well. What the hell? So thank you very much for watching this swimming video, pirates. And I'll see you guys tomorrow as always. Good night. And a special thanks goes out to my members, my supporters. Guns Killer, R27, James Duram, That Dude, Anime Gods of Gaming, Derek, Insider Plane, Nishijutsu Fanner, Professional Jamal, Ryland Williams, and New the York. You've got beautiful names.